Hey guys, so I just got back from LA for the Ant-Man and the Wasp event, and it was amazing. I got to see the movie on Saturday night, which is like basically 2 weeks before the movie comes out in theaters, which is amazing. And then I got to interview the cast. So I interviewed Michael Douglas, I interviewed Paul Rudd, I interviewed Hannah john-kamen, I interviewed Evangeline Lilly, who was incredible, and Lawrence Fishburne, and then I got to interview Peyton Reed, who's the director, and it was so amazing. So make sure you stay tuned to mamasgeeky.com to check out all of my coverage from Ant-Man and the Wasp. But right now, here's my spoiler-free Ant-Man and the Wasp movie review. I'm Tessa with mamasgeeky.com. Honestly, I'm super surprised to say that Ant-Man and the Wasp has broken into my top 5 Marvel movies. I thought these top 5 Marvel movies were going to be solid for like probably until Avengers 4 came out. But Ant-Man and the Wasp it was so incredible. It was hilarious. I was laughing so hard. I teared up a few times. The dynamics between Scott and Hope and Scott and Hank were so funny. When this movie starts out, okay, it's 2 years after Civil War, Captain America Civil War, and Scott hasn't talked to Hope and Hank basically for 2 years, okay? So Scott went rogue, right, and went and helped fight with Cap, as he calls him, and they make fun of him for calling him Cap, which is so funny. I just laugh thinking about it. So anyway, Scott goes rogue and helps out his buddy Cap. And in the process, you know, he gets himself in trouble. He's on house arrest when we see him. And Hank and Hope are on the run, right? He hasn't talked to them. They're pissed at him, frankly, because he used their technology and it gets them in trouble, right? So the FBI is looking for Hope and Hank, can't find them, and Scott's on house arrest. That's basically where the movie opens. So obviously, eventually one thing leads to another, and Hank and Hope and Scott are all back together. And when we see that, it's hilarious. There's so many funny things. And then, of course, there's the entourage, which is hilarious. They're working on creating a ex-con security company, and they're so funny. Everything that happens is just really, really funny. So make sure you pay attention to that stuff. It's great. The one thing about the rummage sale, that's one of my favorite things. And we get to see a famous Lewis story, right? In the first one of my favorite things is him telling the story, and you know, you see all the actors talking, but he's saying the words. The actors are acting it out and moving their mouths, and he's actually saying the words. We see one of those again. The concept behind it is great. I absolutely loved it. I think I like it better than the first one, even though the first one had, you know, Stanley in there saying crazy, stupid, fun, which was awesome. And it was hilarious and it was super fun, and it's one of my favorite Stanley cameos. But this one was this story is just amazing. And speaking of Stanley cameos, I loved Stanley's cameo in Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was fantastic. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, we also see a lot of action. Something I really, really love about this action is that they take full advantage of Pym particles. I mean, you see things, everyday objects get huge, and things that are supposed to be huge get small, and it's so much fun. It makes the battles, like, so much fun because you just don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what item they're just going to grow to be, like, giant, and you don't know what item they're just going to shrink. It's amazing. And speaking of action, the girl power in this movie, I mean, you can probably tell from the trailer, but Ghost and the Wasp both kick some serious ass. I totally adored them. And when I spoke to both of them in interviews, they loved it too. They were like, girl power. They even told us that a few times they would see each other on set and they'd go, girl power, and they'd chest bump, which I find so funny. As you probably know, Ghost is a male in the comics, but I really loved the story they told. I really, really enjoyed Hannah's acting, and I don't want to give any of that story away in this review because this is a spoiler-free review. I will have a spoiler review coming up later after the movie comes out, but it was done so well. And it really, really drew me in. You get a couple of surprises, a couple of shocks. The movie isn't like super predictable, and I just love everything about it. We see a lot of development between Scott and Cassie's characters, and I absolutely love that. When we were interviewing Paul Rudd, he said the sweetest thing. He said he was kind of afraid that his daughter, because he has a daughter who's a little bit younger than Cassie, and he was kind of afraid when she saw that him on screen with another daughter. Really, she might be hurt, but instead she just loved it. And he even told her, he said, "Listen to me, you're the real Cassie." And he said even throughout the movie, he does little things that like are nods to her, like things that they do together. He does those things in there so that she can see that in the movie. And I think that's super sweet. Like, it really made me tear up in the interview. I was like, oh my God, Paul Rudd is like the sweetest dad in the whole world. It was so sweet. I really, really hope they're laying the groundwork for Cassie to become a young Avenger. I think maybe they are. There's nothing that really gives that away in this movie besides her just being proud of her dad and, you know, proud and happy that he's Ant-Man and protective of him, which, I really, really liked. And I'm so excited. Like, if we could see her stature and if we could see her in the Young Avengers, I would be thrilled. I love the Young Avengers. So really what I have to say about this movie is you're going to see a lot of awesome girl power. You're going to see some kick-ass action and you're going to laugh your butt off. It's so funny. Not to mention all the family values in it. I mean, it's really a movie for families. I'm totally going to take my 5 and 7-year-old and I know they're going to love it. And one more thing, guys, don't miss those 2 credit scenes. There's a mid-credit scene that's going to blow your mind. And then there's an end credit scene that's also, you know, funny, but it's probably going to blow your mind a little bit too. I will say it's like watching 2 different movies. I was talking with my friend at the event and he was saying, you know, it really is like 2 different movies. You have this hilarious movie that you love so much and then you have this mid-credit scene that is just mind-blowing. I don't want to give anything away. Do not leave the theater. Don't do it. I know it's a Marvel movie. You should know you don't leave the theater, but don't do it. I don't care. Pee your pants. If you have to pee, sit there and pee your pants because you need to see this mid-credit scene. You need to. Before you head to theaters to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp on July 6th, you should watch all the Marvel movies. But if you haven't watched them all and you can't watch them all, at least watch Ant-Man, Captain America Civil War, and Avengers Infinity War, which is still in some theaters, I think. So be sure to go out and see it. And that's all I have to say about that, guys. Be sure to check out mamasgeeky.com for my full written review. And I'll have a spoiler review after the movie opens in theaters. Of course, throughout the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be having my Ant-Man and the Wasp interviews going live at mamasgeeky.com. And you don't want to miss that. As soon as they come out, I'll be linking them in the description for you guys. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know what you think this movie is going to be like. Let me know if you enjoyed my review. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.